All right, it's good to see everybody today. It's Monday, May the 4th here, and a beautiful day outside, birds chirping, and hope your day and your week is going well. We talked about human flourishing last week in Psalm 92. We're moving forward, picking Psalms into different books. We're going to stay in book 4 today and talk about 7 metaphors of lament. Lament is just psalms. There's probably over 40 of those lament psalms, mostly individual, some communal. In our book of Psalms, our 150 psalms in there, which is the common book of prayer for most generations. As we have said before, songs to be prayed, prayers to be sung. And I appreciate Steve Kennard singing one of those a couple of weeks ago for me, and look forward to a new guest this month, in the month of May, coming up later to do one of our Psalms. Psalm 102, I have 7 metaphors of lament, and then the ability to shift gears during our lament and put our trust and hope in God is clear in this prayer, in this psalm. Let's read together. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Let my cry come to you. Do not hide your face from me in the day of my distress. Incline your ear to me. Answer me speedily in the day when I call. For my days pass away like smoke, and my bones burn like a furnace. My heart is struck down like grass and has withered. I forget to eat my bread. Because of my longing and loud groaning, my bones cling to my flesh. I am like a desert owl in the wilderness, like an owl of the waste places. I lie awake. I am a lonely sparrow on the housetop. All the days my enemies taunt me. Those who deride me use my name for a curse. For I eat ashes like bread and mingle tears with my drink. Because of your indignation and anger, for you have taken me up and thrown me down. My days are like an evening shadow. I wither away like grass. These are the type of prayers in the book of Psalms that show us the realness of a relationship with God. In order to be emotionally healthy at this time of COVID and other things that are going on for people, loss of jobs, loss of loved ones, more time to think about life and maybe overthink about life in our finite minds, and for others so busy that we are just exhausted during the day. We're going to have these kinds of thoughts. 7 metaphors of distress, or 7 metaphors of lament. My days, number 1, pass like smoke. I feel like at times, wow, am I having any impact at all? My days are like smoke. My bones burn like a furnace. I'm totally exhausted. Number 2, my heart is struck down like grass, and I feel like I'm just withering away. For a lot of us, those are the emotions that we feel. It's the reality of who we are right now and what we feel and what is going on with us. I'm like a desert owl of the wilderness. A lot of us feel the emptiness and the loneliness of this waste place for so many of us, as the poet says here in Psalms. And so we relate to the owl. I lie awake. I am a lonely sparrow on the housetop. I have a lot of birds in my yard that actually have kept me company the last 5 or 6 weeks. And yet at times the sparrow is a way or a metaphor of lament, feeling like I'm just like the lonely sparrow. It sits on my housetop. You think more about your enemies, you think more about the world. Your emotions are high and low, and there's sine curves that are great at this time. The poet here says, I eat ashes like bread. He uses ashes as a metaphor. And then he says, I mingle tears with my drink. That we have a lot of emotion during this time. We feel for others that are hurting. We feel for those who have lost loved ones. We feel for those who are hungry. In our church, praying for our brothers and sisters in Africa, getting funds and money over there. Is super encouraging, and to keep the relationships going, but be praying for those people. We have friends all over the world. One of our friends in Africa that teaches, William Alki, lost his sister this past week. Will he be able to get to the funeral today? Is a question for him. A young mother who gave birth, and the child is doing great, but the mom didn't make it. And so his stepsister is not with us anymore. We can pray for William, and I know that's a metaphor for others, many others that we're praying for. And finally, he says, my days are like an evening shadow. I wither away like grass. Sometimes we feel the quickness of our life. It's like a shadow. We look back and see regrets and things we wish we could change. And our brain turns on to those things and then forgets the other side of what is going on in life as we think about life. We even tend to blame God. The poet here says, because of your indignation and anger, you have taken me up and thrown me down. And sometimes we feel that way. But the prayer continues, as we need to continue and close out. But you, O Lord, are enthroned forever. You are remembered throughout all generations. You will arise and have pity on Zion. It is time to favor her. The appointed time has come. For your servants hold her stones dear and have pity on her dust. Nations will fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth will fear your glory. For the Lord builds up Zion. He appears in his glory. He regards the prayer of the destitute and does not despise their prayer. Let this be recorded for a generation to come, so that a people yet to be created may praise the Lord. That he looked down from his holy height. From heaven the Lord looked at the earth, to hear the groans of the prisoners, to set free those who were doomed to die, that they may declare in Zion the name of the Lord, and in Jerusalem his praise, when peoples gather together and kingdoms to worship the Lord. He has broken my strength in mid-course. He has shortened my days. O my God, I say, take me not away in the midst of my days. You whose years endure throughout all generations. Of old you laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you still remain. They will all wear out like a garment. You will change them like a robe, and they will pass away. But you are the same, and your years have no end. The children of your servants shall dwell secure. Their offspring shall be established before you. The person praying here and writing this psalm realizes that there is a transition in our metaphors of lament to realizing when it's all said and done, and we look at it from an eternal perspective, that even creation groans during this time. And creature and creation together, those of us who bear the image of God, God looks down upon and says, I will grant your prayer one day. And as we live between the two resurrections, between Jesus' resurrection and our resurrection, and this new heaven and new earth, things will be made new. There will be a time of no pain and no crying and no moaning and no groaning. And the hurts that we feel in the twinkling of an eye will be changed to an eternal relationship with God. I'll close out with these thoughts. Brene Brown last week on Jimmy Fallon said that 3 things that will happen during COVID. And number one of those things is there's an opportunity here for us to get better. There's always an opportunity during tough times of testing to be better on the other end of it. In my life coaching, I talk about opportunity over obstacles. There are a lot of obstacles emotionally and mentally and physically and especially spiritually right now that we do need to be overcomers. So I encourage you in this prayer this week, as you think about this psalm, to overcome obstacles and see it as an opportunity long term to get better. She talked about the trauma that other people have to Jimmy Fallon. I thought it was a great point. We don't understand the great trauma that other people feel. Some of us, they do not feel like we do. Their hurts and their pains and their lament, as it's described here in this psalm, are greater than ours. I'd encourage you to realize from this psalm that trauma should lead to trust. That long term, God does not put us through something we're not able to bear. That God is with us during the times that are tough, and trauma should lead to trust. And thirdly, she talked about that one thing she knew, that we could be stronger as a community stronger as neighborhoods, and stronger as nations afterwards. And I believe that's true. We could be. That's a choice we need to make. We learn in times of trauma that loving God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving others more than ourselves, that great commandment is what we should be living out. And we realize the most important things to us during this time are not possessions and the things that we own, but the relationships that we have. So this week, get help. It takes strength to get help. Give help. It takes strength to give help. And realize ultimately, God is our great help. He is our great physician. And so if you're in lament this week, and it's really something that you need help with, get with somebody locally and tell them you need help. Call me if you need help. Email me if you need help. mmitch53@gmail.com. mmitch53@gmail.com. But this week, as we lament, let's remember that we serve a God of great help. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.